It's been a few hours since I locked up the cabin. I've been busy working on the culverts here at Lone Wolf Mountain. We are now under a flood warning. 4 inches of rain has fallen and more is on the way. They estimate up to 3 more inches of rain. My friends, I want to welcome you all to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. For this adventure, we're at the cabin. We are at the cabin and a big storm system is on the way. Check out this forecast, everybody. Take a look at all of the warnings and alerts that are in place right now. Check this out. This is ridiculous. When I left the house this afternoon, these warnings were not in place. So all of this stuff has basically gone up as soon as I got here. We have a winter weather advisory in place starting at 12 o'clock tonight, and that lasts until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We have a high wind warning going into place at 7 o'clock this evening, which is in about an hour and 15 minutes. We also have a flood watch in place starting tonight at 12. With this adventure, we are looking at periods of sleet, freezing rain, maybe some snow, icing, up to 1/10 of an inch. Winds will be sustained at 30 miles an hour with gusts up to 55. As far as the flood watch goes, it says 2 to 4 inches of rain are possible. Initially, my plan was not to stay here at the cabin, but rather I was going to set up a fortress of sorts. I have a Coleman canopy that I was going to set up with this big, large, clear tarp. Unfortunately, that canopy cannot hand such strong winds, so that's out of the question. So my plan was to set up this crazy fortress. That's not going to work. So rather, I've come to the cabin. Folks, let's see what's going to happen. It might sleet, it might freezing rain, it may flood. I have no idea. All that I know, my friends, is that I'm glad to be out here with you. Together, we will see what happens. Let's make some coffee real quick before it gets any later. It is almost 6 o'clock. That's not too late. So let's get the coffee going and we'll do some more talking. My friends, this coffee is incredible. So I did my typical mixture, right? The difference this time is this right here. This is an instant coffee that's like caramel, whatever you want to call it. It is the best smelling thing of all time. And now this coffee tastes just like this smells. It is super strong. That's the way I like it. And it's really good. Cheers. It's getting windy out there. It is almost 7 o'clock, and that means the high wind warning is about to go into place. Wind and freezing rain make things very interesting. Luckily, the freezing rain part, it's not going to last very long. Hopefully, it'll start as sleet and just stay sleet, something like that. I'd rather not have any freezing rain, but you never know. You just never know. When you have storm systems coming up from the south like this, and where it's not very cold, anything can happen. Speaking of which, right now, it is 32 degrees. It's freezing. As you can see, it's definitely a little bit chilly in here. I need to get my buddy heater going. That is going to be our heat source tonight inside of the cabin. Now we're talking, everybody. We've got the heat going, we have coffee, and here in a little bit we'll make dinner. But I tell you what, let's kick back, let's talk for just a second. I was just thinking, I cannot believe that it's 2024. It's January of 2024 and the days are already flying by. I mean, before you know it, it is going to be February. How crazy is that? I hope you all had a fantastic New Year's. My family and I, we definitely did. My daughter's deployed, so I didn't get to see her. My wife and I and our son, we went down to the beach and we had a fantastic time. We spent 2 or 3 days down there bumming around, just having a great time. We did do a little bit of drinking on New Year's. That was a lot of fun. At the same time, we were watching some really bad movies. And like, what were they? Some sort of shark movies. I mean, they were terrible. If you weren't drinking, they were the worst movies of all time. If you were drinking, it was pretty fun, you know what I mean? The day after New Year's, we went to the theater and we saw a really good movie, Godzilla -1. You know, folks, I haven't seen a Godzilla movie since I was a kid. I remember back to when I was like 7 or 8. It was like late night TV, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, like during the summer when there's no school, something like that. Every once in a while, those old movies would come on like at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I remember watching them and I don't know, they were okay. You know, anything with monsters is kind of cool, destruction, cool. But I never really did fall in love with like the whole Godzilla thing. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not even sure what those Godzilla movies were. There's so many of them. Anyways, so we went and saw Godzilla -1, and it was without a doubt the best movie that I saw out of all of 2023. For 2024, it's gonna be hard to beat too. Yes, it was a monster movie, lots of destruction, lots of CGI, but they did it right. Not only did you have all of that action with really good CGI, but at the same time there was a really good story. I experienced something while watching that movie that I've never experienced before in a theater. It's like there was a scene where there was like no sound and the entire theater was hush. Nobody was making a peep with the exception of those who were crying around us. It was incredibly powerful. I'm not going to say anything else about that movie other than you need to go see it. It is like subtitled. There's no English in it, but it's okay. You get used to it in a minute. The story was so good and the special effects were amazing. And apparently that movie only cost like $15 million to make. How does that movie look so good when everything else, like movies that cost $200, $300 million, the CGI sucks. I don't know. Whatever they did in that movie, they did it right. So without a doubt, go check it out and let me know what you thought about it. Have you ever had an experience like that when you're inside of a movie and it's so powerful that nobody's even breathing? I've never experienced anything like it. It was very, very cool. I felt bad for like the people who were crying though. I'll be honest, it brought a tear to my eye at one point in time. But there was like this lady who was sitting next to Susie. She bawled. I mean, bawled for a good 20 minutes. I felt bad for her and wanted to do something, but you know, nothing I could do. Let's see, it is now after 7 o'clock. That means a high wind warning is in place. It sounds breezy outside, but it's not crazy windy or anything. Let's go ahead and let's check the radar real quick so I can show you all what is coming in. Oh yeah. This is going to be a monster of a storm, folks. It's been a while since we've been to the cabin. A few months at least, maybe even longer. I'm not sure if I told you all this, but I ended up putting rain visors over every single window. That way I can keep the windows open even when it's raining, snowing, sleeting outside, whatever. That is something I should have done a long time ago. The thing is, it took me a while to find the right product. The visors that I got are basically the same thing that you would put on your vehicle. The exception is they are super, super macho. And the adhesive is like industrial strength. I was able to get them on and there was no making any adjustments. As soon as the glue contacted the metal, they were stuck there. Luckily, I did a pretty good job and everything was level, so I won that one. I did not win by hitting the tree here at Lone Wolf Mountain with my truck. As far as an update goes on that, I was able to locate a black bumper and it's going to cost $300 for the bumper itself. To have it installed and repair everything else, it's pretty expensive. We're talking about $2,000. That, my friends, was a $2,000 mistake. I told you, I messed up and now I'm paying for it. That was my mess up for 2023. Hopefully in 2024, I don't have any mess ups like that. After I hit that tree, it did get me to thinking, maybe it's time to go to a smaller truck. I really don't need a full-size truck anymore. Even though I do like full-size trucks, I could go with something smaller, something that works a little bit better here at Lone Wolf Mountain. I'm not sure if you all know this, but Lone Wolf Mountain has a ton of logging roads that go all the way around it. The thing is, they're super, super narrow. So I was able to get my truck down those roads, but I ended up hitting a tree. So if I had something a little bit smaller, it would be able to navigate those roads a little bit better. That has been on my mind for a while. So we'll see what happens. No real plans yet, but I'm definitely thinking, you know what I mean? I'm pondering things. I'm not sure if you all know this or not, but I go through vehicles rather quickly. The channel is right around 10 years old, and I have gone through how many vehicles? Let's count them up. So I had a Titan, a Ram van, an Army truck, the Tundra. I also had a silver 4Runner. That's 6 vehicles. Oh, I can't believe I forgot it. I also had a Japanese imported Land Cruiser. That's right. Huh. As you all can see, I like to go through vehicles rather quickly, so it might be time for something new. The Tundra has been a fantastic truck, no doubt about it. But the design of that truck is getting a little bit old. I would like to have something a little bit more modern and some more modern features. So, I don't know. I'm just thinking right now. Let me know what you all think. Comment down below. The used market is so hot right now, I could sell that Tundra for more than I bought it for. So that is something to consider, isn't it? Check this out, everybody. For dinner, we are having Japanese-style noodles with mustard mayonnaise. I have no idea what this is going to taste like. I'm crossing my fingers. It's good, though. We are going to add some chicken to this as well. So in about 3 minutes, it will be ready. My friends, this is very, very unusual. Mayonnaise mustard noodles. I've never had anything quite like it before. I'm not really sure what to even compare it to. It's very good. Very strange. I would definitely make this again. Yeah, I like it. I'm just not sure what to compare it to. It's like eating ramen noodles. It's like a little creamy like mayonnaise, but kind of tastes like a spicy mustard at the same time. It's, like I said, really, really different. What surprises me the most about this is the fact that it's not spicy. For some reason, I was thinking that it would be. Like a real spicy Japanese mustard, but it's not. This is going to be one of those meals where I'm just going to have to turn the camera off. Too much slurping. No one wants to watch someone eat noodles unless they're really, really beautiful. The more I eat, the more I love this. This is fantastic. Especially with the chicken. This is a cutting meal, man. Do the Hodge twins still do eating videos? You'd be like, yeah. That's a cut meal right there, man. That's my best impression. Those guys were pretty funny back in the day. As far as the temperature goes in here, it is very comfortable. Very, very comfortable. In fact, I may open up an additional window just to kind of balance the temperature out just a little bit. I'm getting a little bit warm, to be honest. Of course, I have proper ventilation. I have numerous windows open, and it's windy outside. I can have a window cracked, and there's a ton of air coming in. Plus, we're inside of a toy hauler, so there's air coming in from everywhere. As far as ventilation goes, I'm fine. I'm safe. There's always that one person who flips out when they see a buddy heater. They know absolutely nothing about a buddy heater, but yet they flip out. It is 12 a.m. Right on the dot, it started sleeting. Actually, it's a little bit of sleet and freezing rain all at the same time. Every once in a while, a snowflake here and there, but folks, it has begun. You might be able to hear it, but the winds have picked up as well. Right now, the winds are high level, but every once in a while, we'll have a gust lower down. I'll tell you what, folks, let's get our bed ready for the night. Well, everybody, I am ready for bed, and it's time to call it. My plan is to get a few hours of sleep, then I'll get up, check on the weather conditions, and we'll see what it's like. But it's a little bit after 12 o'clock, and I am tired. I cannot wait to wake up in the morning to see what it's like. I mean, it's going to be nasty, folks. I don't think I told you this, but North Carolina is under a state of emergency due to this storm. This storm is big, it's bad, and it's powerful, and it's coming this way. And because we've had so many storm systems in the last couple of weeks, everything is soaking wet. The ground is absolutely saturated, and they forecast trees are going to come down. The only thing that I know for certain is that we're safe here at the cabin at Lone Wolf Mountain. Everybody, I'm going to sleep. I will see you all in the morning. Good night for now. Good morning, everybody. As you all can hear, it is absolutely pouring outside. I just heard from my wife that there's a ton of power outages back at home. It's pretty crazy. As far as the icing goes here, it doesn't look to be that bad. There's just a thin coat over everything. We're right there at freezing, and I bet you any moment now it's going to go above and all of this ice is going to begin to melt. The high today is like 50 degrees, so it's not really that cold today. By looking through the windows here, you can see that it's not really windy at the moment, but they say the winds are coming and they're going to be ferocious. We shall see about that. The first thing that I need to do this morning is make some coffee, so let's get to it. Now we're talking, my friends. It is coffee time. Cheers, everyone. That caramel instant coffee is incredible. You can mix that with anything and it's great. By the way, this is super strong, which is exactly the way that I like it. The plan for this morning is pretty simple. Coffee, breakfast, we'll put on our rain gear, then we'll go out and we'll explore Lone Wolf Mountain, and we'll see if there's any downed trees or anything like that. Susie's been sending me some photos from home, and there's power outages everywhere, trees down everywhere. So the winds must be picking up there. They're not really too bad here at the moment. It was windy last night, but it's calmed down, thank God. That's not a bad thing. I don't like battling the wind. That is a battle you're always going to lose. Eventually you will. Around midnight last night, we had freezing rain and sleet falling. By 2 a.m., it was heavy, and from that point on, it just continued. Around 3 o'clock in the morning, the sleet stopped, and it turned all to ice. My question is the road out there icy? The driveway here for Lone Wolf Mountain is half a mile long. And so once you go from the top, it kind of wraps around, and there's like what I call the middle section. The middle section is this hollow. It gets no sunlight, and it's always icy and snowy down there. So after that point, it gets a little bit better, but then it gets super steep down at the end. It will be interesting to see whether or not we can actually get out of here. Luckily, the temperature is rising and the ice is melting, but that doesn't mean that the road is going to be clear. It could be icy for hours. And with the middle part, it's not going to melt at all today. As for the oatmeal, it's okay. There's not much flavor to it, and to be honest, that's kind of how I like it. I'm not a big fan of sugar. Sugar is definitely not good for you. So, plain Jane, that's okay. I tell you what, everybody, let's take a break from eating oatmeal. I want to do some shout outs, then we'll finish up breakfast, get our rain gear on, and we'll go explore. So my very first shout out goes out to Facette. Check out Outdoors with V. He has an awesome channel. Buddy, thank you so much for the coffee and the gloves. You are the man. He sent us some Pete's coffee, and it is the best smelling coffee ever. It is amazing. Mitch and Naomi, thank you so much for the book. I cannot wait to read it. Clay, thank you so much for the rope roller. That is really interesting. Bill, my friend, thank you so much for the card. Please know that anytime you send us something, a letter, a package, we open it over the trash can. Bill knows what I'm talking about. Martin, thank you so much for the coffee from Africa. You are the man, and you are appreciated. top of the mountain, it's fine. This section through here is a sheet of ice. Luckily, it's not thick enough that I should have any problems. Coming down the hill, that'll be slick. I'll have to pop it into the lowest gear, no brakes, and just come down. If it wasn't for the winds that are supposed to come in later on, this would be a great rain event. It's been a few hours since I locked up the cabin. I've been busy working on the culverts here at Lone Wolf Mountain. We are now under a flood warning. 4 inches of rain has fallen and more is on the way. They estimate up to 3 more inches of rain. But everybody, I am done. You might be able to see this, but I'm absolutely soaked. Oh, by the way, Facette, thank you so much for these gloves, man. I love them. You're a lifesaver. All right, folks, let's go home. Let's get out of here.